Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are cracking open one of philosophy's most challenging cold cases. We're talking about a logical paradox so deep it almost brought Western thought to a screeching halt before it even got started. This is the incredible story of how Plato hunted down a master of illusion and, in the process, saved the very idea of truth itself.
So let's just start with the crazy thought experiment. I want you to imagine a world where it was literally logically impossible to tell a lie. You couldn't even be mistaken about anything. Sounds kind of great, right? A paradise of perfect honesty. But hold on. If you can't be wrong, what does it even mean to be right? How could you possibly test a scientific theory or tell a fictional story?
You know, in ancient Greece, this wasn't just some fun riddle. It was a full-blown intellectual crisis. And the problem starts right here. Telling a lie means talking about what is not. Simple enough. But the brilliant philosopher Parmenides had laid down this seemingly unbreakable law. You can't speak or even think about what is not, because what is not is nothing. It doesn't exist. And that one powerful idea was about to paralyze all of rational thought.
To solve this, Plato's dialogue, The Sophist, actually frames the whole investigation as a hunt. See, he needs to track down and capture this mysterious figure who just thrives in all this logical chaos, a character that really embodies the problem itself, the Sophist.
So who were these guys? Well, the Sophists were the intellectual chameleons of their day. Super charismatic teachers, masters of debate, and they charged a lot of money because they appeared to know everything. But their real trade, at least in Plato's eyes, was illusion. They were experts at using these logical loopholes to win arguments, not to find the truth. They were slippery, almost impossible to pin down.
So, to corner this creature, Plato, speaking through a character called the Eleatic Stranger, unveils this brand new investigative tool, the method of division. It's kind of like a game of 20 questions, you know? You start with a really broad category, like art, and you just keep slicing it in half. Is it productive or acquisitive, by force or by stealth? And you keep doing that until you've totally isolated your target. To show us how it works, he first tries it out on a simple angler.
But here's the catch. When they try to use this super precise method on the Sophist, he doesn't just show up in one tidy little box. No, he's everywhere at once. He's a hunter of wealthy kids, a merchant selling knowledge, a combative debater. And to make things even more confusing, he also kind of looks like a true philosopher, someone who purifies the soul. The Sophist, it turns out, is a master of disguise, hiding in a thick logical fog.
And this really frustrating hunt reveals a huge twist in the case. The Sophist, as it turns out, he isn't the real culprit. He's just a symptom of a much, much deeper and older philosophical problem.
Yeah, the real issue lurking in the background was a philosophical ghost, the great Parmenides himself. His powerful logic had become this unshakable law, and this very quote, this was the foundation of the whole crisis. It basically haunted every attempt to talk about error or falsehood or illusion. You see, Parmenides had trapped philosophy in this perfect, logical prison. He created this stark, black and white division. You can only speak and think about what is, because it exists. But to speak about what is not, well, that's trying to talk about absolute nothingness. It's a complete impossibility. There was no gray area, no middle ground.
And this prison is the Sophist's ultimate hideout. I mean, think about it. His defense is perfect. If he says something, he has to be talking about something that is. Because if he were talking about what is not, he'd be saying literally nothing at all. And therefore, he can never say anything false. He can't be wrong. It is the perfect alibi for a professional deceiver.
Okay, so to break out of this prison and finally catch the Sophist, Plato knew he had to do the unthinkable. In the dialogue, he actually calls it committing parricide, a philosophical patricide. He had to challenge and, in a way, kill the argument of his revered philosophical father, Parmenides.
And right here, this is the genius move. Plato's great escape isn't to just attack Parmenides head-on. Instead, he brilliantly redefines the entire concept of not being. He argues that not being doesn't mean absolute nothingness at all.
This just reframes the entire problem. Not being isn't some empty void. It's just a relationship of otherness, of difference. So when you say something is not red, you're not saying it doesn't exist. You're just saying it is different from red. All of a sudden, not being becomes a way of telling one thing apart from another. So to prove his case, Plato uses this super simple example right from the dialogue. It's a statement of fact that matches reality. Theaetetus is sitting. Okay, easy enough. We can all agree that's true.
Now, look at a false statement. Theaetetus is flying. Now, according to the old logic of Parmenides, this sentence should be complete nonsense because it's trying to describe a state of what is not. I mean, theaetetus flying doesn't exist, so you can't talk about it.
But here it is, the crucial point. Plato shows us that the false statement doesn't plunge Theaetetus into some void of non-existence. It simply says his actual state, sitting, is different from the state of flying. The little word not now connects the statement to a reality that is other than what's being claimed. And just like that, falsehood is possible.
With that single elegant move, Plato cracks the case wide open. The sophist is caught, sure, but the consequences of this breakthrough, wow. They ripple out and change the entire world of thought forever.
All of a sudden, we have a way to make sense of the world. If falsehood can exist, then truth finally has real meaning. We can distinguish error from fact, lies from reality. Statements can now be tested against the world, and the entire project of rational discourse, science, ethics, law, you name it, is saved from collapse. The sophist's shadowy refuge is gone for good.
I mean, this discovery laid the essential groundwork for logic itself. By solving this problem of not being, Plato made it possible for his star student, Aristotle, to go on and build the formal system of logic that has shaped Western thought for over 2,000 years.
So when you get right down to it, this ancient philosophical detective story is about so much more than just catching a tricky debater. It secured our fundamental ability to reason, to argue, and to imagine. Think about it. Every time a scientist proposes a hypothesis that isn't true yet, or you read a novel about a world that doesn't actually exist, you are operating on the logical foundation that Plato built right here.
This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.